Hey guys, it's Eylin, and today we're reacting to a series of TikToks talking about the Wick vs. Mon trend that was made by the famous TikToker. So let's start with the first video made by influencer named Dinosaur. Let's go! So I'll be watching the Mrs. Dinosaur drugstore video.
What's up, dinosaurs? You're watching Drugstore Finds, and today we're in Walgreens looking around.
This is my favorite toilet paper product. It's such a good brand. It's amazing. Guys, go get it. Only 79 cents. Wow.
79 cents.
These magazines. What an amazing crossword. Oh my god. What is this? A letter? Okay guys, we're out here now because we kind of got kicked out of the store for videotaping. So these are the letters. R. Walton. He's a missing person, guys. Anthony Zuniga. If you guys see him, contact 925-664-2211. Please, guys, we need to find him. Okay, so back to the letters. Guys, so these are the letters by R. Walton. Talking about scientist who creates a living bee from dead body parts. Guys, I don't really believe this. I feel like it's just fake. But it's very old, and who copied some stories from years ago. See, the papers are really old. Like the stamps.
I feel like this could be real. You see these stamps? I think I remember these.
Wow. Guys, I think cameraman is right. These might really be real stories about Frankenstein. Wow. I can't believe. Oh my god, no! My papers! Guys, we found such a good find. All of our episodes of Drugstore Finds, we just got stolen by some random person. Well, you guys knew what it is. Now you at least know it exists. Bye, dinosaurs. See you in next episode of Drugstore Finds.
Wow, I can't believe those notes stayed intact after all these years. And it's really interesting how a lot of people think the Frankenstein story is fictional. But let's see what we have here. Next, I'll be reacting to the first video of Drama Nation.
Welcome back to Drama Nation, back with exclusive coverage of the Frankenstein Walton documents that have become an overnight sensation. From an unknown source, we have acquired all the letters originally found by this dinosaur. Here we will analyze the true authenticity of these letters. On the first examination, these do seem like they belong in the 1700s. My historians also pointed out that the stamps and writing format all align with pieces of writing from this time. As we have successfully authenticated this document, let's settle this beef between Frankenstein and creator believers. Before we get into it, let me provide some background, as a factual summary is very difficult to discern the fact from fiction back these days. These letters were once sent by R. Walton to his sister, describing the beginning of his expedition to the Arctic, hoping to discover a new passage of trade. His letters to his sister are filled with both thrill of adventure and his loneliness. One day, however, his voyage takes an unexpected turn when his crew spots a figure in the distance, strangely large and moving across the ice on a dog sled. Soon after, they rescue a man on the brink of death, the tortured Victor Frankenstein. In the following letters, Walton recounts the mesmerizing and haunting story Victor shares with him as they wait for him to recover. Victor's story begins in Geneva, Switzerland, where he grows up in a loving family with his adopted cousin, Elizabeth Lavenza, and close friend Henry Clerval. Drawn to science from an early age, Victor's ambition intensifies as he becomes captivated by the possibility of discovering the secrets of life itself. His obsession intensifies after the death of his mother and begins to create a creature from body parts he assembles, reanimates them through a mysterious process he refuses to share. But when he finally brings it to life, Victor is horrified by the creature's grotesque appearance and abandons it in terror. Walton explains in his letters how Victor tried to resume his life, suppressing the trauma, but his peace is shattered when he learns that his youngest brother, William, has been murdered. Returning home from Geneva, Victor sees the creature lurking nearby and realizes with horror that the creature is responsible. Tragically, Justine, a beloved family servant, is wrongly accused of the murder and executed. The double loss of his brother and Justine devastates Victor, but he keeps a secret, fearing no one will believe him and wanting to correct his mistakes. Later on a secluded mountain trip, Victor encounters the creature, who tells him of his own journey. Walton's letters capture Victor's deep sadness as he recounts the creature's story, abandoned and alone. The creature learned about humanity from afar, watching a poor family in a cottage and even helping them by secretly gathering wood. He longs to be a part of the human society, but every attempt at contact ended in violent rejection. The creature, isolated and filled with rage, demands Victor create a companion for him, arguing that he has a right to happiness. Reluctantly, Victor agrees and goes to the remote Orkney Islands to begin his work. But as Walton describes, Victor grows fearful of the consequences of creating another being like the first, and he destroys the companion before being turned away. Enraged, the creature vows revenge, promising to be with Victor on his wedding night. True to his word, the creature murders Elizabeth on the night of their marriage, leaving Victor completely devastated. Victor's father dies from grief shortly after, and with nothing left to live for, Victor devotes himself to hunting down his creation. Driven to the ends of the earth in his pursuit, Victor Victor's quest brings him to the icy wastelands where Walton's final letters. He reflects on how Victor's story has affected them. He admires Victor's intelligence and passion, but is horrified by the tragic consequences of his ambition. Walton watches as Victor, exhausted and weakened, finally succumbs to his relentless suffering. Shortly after Victor's death, Walton's crew discovers the creature weeping over Victor's body. In Walton's final letter, he describes the creature's sorrowful confession. The creature laments with his loneliness, hatred, and regret, explaining that Victor's death has left him with nothing. He vows to end his own life and disappears into the Arctic wilderness, never to be seen again. Walton concludes his letter with a somber realization moved by Victor's cautionary tale. He decides to abandon his own ambition, turning the ship back south to ensure his crew's safety. The beautiful cautionary tale made people from around the world question if the isolation of both the creature and Victor impacts their human development, and reveals how social rejection, rather than being pure evil, could transform the creature from a blank slate into a representation of society's failures. In the next video, I will end the debate by providing facts, proving right and wrong. Bye! See you guys next time.
Oof, that's a big hit for the Victor side. But I do wonder, why did Victor just isolate himself instead of talking to others? I'm sure that isolation was not a good amount of help for his mental well-being. As for the initial question, who's at fault? I would say it's neither of them, that it's just an accident or a miscalculation because of his development problems due to his trauma. But that's just my hypothesis on this. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about it. And Victor also later obviously regretted his actions, as he never intended for this to happen this way. And he spent the rest of his life undoing the damages he has done. Let's take a break from that big Dramination video and look at some perspectives, more specifically Victor's.
Reacting to Am I the Beephole?
Am I the beephole? Me, a 19-year-old male Vic, just entering college, created a monster that caused some mayhem. So here's some background. Basically, after my mom died, I became very lonely, and I wanted someone or something to keep me company, or at least call me their creator, so I created a monster. I collected body parts from deceased people, and put them together to make a human-like creature. During this process, I isolated myself in a laboratory, and had no interaction with the outside world. After I spent 2 years making this creature, it woke up. I looked at it, enjoyed its hair and eyes for a second, and then ran. It then went on to kill 4 people, including my beloved fiancée Elizabeth, my brother William, my best friend Henry, and a random child.
But I do wonder, why did Victor just isolate himself? Let's now take a look at a video from Dr. Binu where she can answer all our questions. Hey guys, it's me, Dr. Binu, and I just wanted to hop on this trend to give you my opinion on this issue as a psychological researcher. So as you have probably seen by now, Dramination just uploaded a new video, and I have discovered substantial proof of the effects of destructiveness and isolation had on Victor and his creature. Let's get straight into it. Remember the first few letters where he had an obsession with light, which was further accentuated by the death of his mother? From my research, mental health treatment facilities only really started in the early 1900s, which was around 200 years after the events of the story. Shown clearly in the source below, feel free to pause and read. Because of this, Victor had no way to call for help unless he wanted to be deemed insane and isolated away. This new perspective on Victor Frankenstein's mental health and isolation reflects a bordered 18th century misunderstanding and stigmatization of mental health. It drastically affected people's ability to address trauma, emotional sufferings. In the 1700s, mental health was largely dismissed, and people experiencing such were often deemed as insane and sent to asylums called madhouses. These were not rehabilitation facilities, but rather prisons, as patients were isolated and subjected to cruel treatment meant to control and subdue them, which didn't contribute to recovery. The stigma created a climate where people had no choice but to hide their emotional pain through the isolation, ultimately trapping themselves in this feedback loop of isolation and silence. So it becomes very clear why Victor chose to isolate over sharing his pain. From the trauma of his mother's death to the horror of his own creation, he knew the dangers of discussing this distress, which consequently led to the deterioration of his mental health. Society's dismissive view of mental health was what forced him to internalize his emotions and withdraw from others to avoid judgment and being sent off of signs of emotional instability. He knew about these severe consequences, as he was highly educated, and these practices were common, so it was understandable for him to keep this to himself, to avoid a lifetime of confinement, neglect, and mistreatment in the madhouses. Without a support from anyone, he returned to his scientific pursuits. As a distraction to overcome his feelings of guilt and helplessness, he thought reanimating life was the only way to resolve his mental feelings and regain control of his life. He thought to reanimate life represents not just a scientific goal, but deeply a personal one, to undo his mother's death, to conquer the feeling he's suppressing. His worsened psychological stage resulted in a clouded judgment, leaving him unprepared for the responsibilities of creating life. His isolation and fragile psychological stage prevented him from considering the ethical and practical implications of this experiment, as he was tunnel visioned into reanimation without regard for the creature's need or his impact. The oversight ultimately led to the devastating consequences, as Victor's inability to foresee the repercussions of his actions endangered both him and the creature. If society's mental health treatment was closer to today's, with more understanding and compassionate care, Victor's life would have turned out differently. He would have been able to open up by his experiences in life, had access to coping mechanisms, thus lessening the obsessive need to control life and death through science. The creature's experience mirrors Victor's, as they both are driven to isolation. Through the series of tragic events, the creature is rejected by his own creator and later by society for his appearance. Despite that, his innocence and desire for companionship, society's cruelty reinforce his loneliness and deepens his resentment. It shares similarities with adults who face disabilities that face unfair treatment. So, here's some research about that. 4 in 10 adults with disabilities reported experiencing unfair treatment in the healthcare settings, at work, or when applying for public benefits because of their disabilities or their personal characteristics in 2022. The creature experiences mirror the historical discrimination faced by the disabled and deformed individuals who have been often marginalized and isolated due to physical differences. The creature only seeks acceptance, but encounters only fear and hostility, reflecting how superficial judgments dehumanize and exclude. This isolation drives the creature toward anger and vengeance, highlighting the emotional toll of constant rejection. His story reveals how society's failure to show compassion can lead to despair and resentment, showing the need for inclusive acceptance for those who differ from societal norms that are almost out of their control. His anguish is magnified by witnessing the love and connection others share, which remain out of reach for him. The isolation Victor imposes on him leaves the creature with no example of empathy or moral guidance, which ultimately shapes him into a reflection of Victor's own pain and neglect. As he experiences betrayal and hostility from the world, the creature's inner torment turns into hatred, leading him to retaliate against Victor. The creature's quest for revenge is fueled by the same sense of abandonment, guilt, and the need to control that drove Victor to his creature. Overall, it reveals that societal stigma
around mental health in the 18th century not only intensified Victor and the creature's suffering but drove him into an isolation that worsened his psychological state, causing them to be unable to properly make informed decisions.
Well, that was an interesting video. So I guess my hypothesis about isolation affecting development was right. It really is unfortunate to think about the many people who struggled with this in the 18th century. This also really changes the perspective around and lead us to the conclusion that it's no one's fault. It's just society's fault. The social rejection Victor probably would have faced if he confessed to his problems, or how society rejects the monster because of his looks. This also explains how the monster is a representation of society's failure, as he's receiving from the outside world is all discrimination, hate, and neglect. And I also appreciate her connecting this to the people of our own time, people who are afraid to speak out for themselves about their mental health because they don't want to be called weird or weak, and people who are being bullied for their looks, deformities. Let's take a moment to remember that these things are things that people can't change about themselves. They're simply out of their control. So discriminating and bullying them wouldn't magically heal them or help their case. This is a reminder of the day to be mindful to yourself and others.
Watching Drama Nation number 2 with the 100-day solitary challenge.
Welcome back to Drama Nation. Here is our real-life test of 100 days in solitary confinement video.
In this video, I am trying myself 100 days in this room alone. Let's see what happens by the end of the video.
What's up, guys? First update here. I think it's only been a few hours. It's not that bad. I don't know what people were saying about this challenge being impossible. Like, they thought 100 days was crazy. Nah, I'll prove them all wrong. Alright, see you in the next update. I can barely see what's outside. I'm missing the outside world already. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another update here. I don't know how long I've been here. They don't give me a clock. I feel like this is kind of inhumane, but anyways. I feel like I'm still feeling good, except for I've been lonely. I haven't seen anyone. Oh, welcome back to another update. I don't think I've been feeling the best here. It's really depressing. I've only been with these wood chips for the last... I think it's not flying. I think I'm going crazy here. Anyways, I think I've been here for like years at this point. I hope my 100 days is alright, I'm actually going crazy, so see you in the next update. Go. Welcome back to another update. I'm back. I'm still here. I'm feeling really sad right now. I've never seen I've never no interaction these days. Food is wood chips. Guys, welcome back to another update of this. I'm feeling really depressed. I counted 8,000 wood chips for nothing. I lost count already. This is not going very well. I'm feeling so depressed, isolated. I'm feeling how Frankenstein was feeling. Oh.
Oh my god, what's up, fam?
on,
Welcome
come
to
on.
my next. It's
so
right. Hey guys, it's me, the competitor. Here, I am unable to provide a diagnosis due to my deteriorated health, as I've experienced right after the video. Just a Frankenstein's isolation.
It must have been a brutal time for our participant, and don't worry, he was awarded a lot of money for his commitment. He is currently still recovering from the mental damage from this prolonged isolation. This is really sad to see this happen to our fellow competitor, but just justifies the actions of Victor and his creation, as isolation driven by social issues just brought similar symptoms. Just like our competitor, they have received cognitive decline from the effects of loneliness that have contributed to their actions. This underscores the impact rejection has and proves that their actions don't stem from the inherent evil, but from intense suffer from social isolation.
And make sure to unalive that subscribe button.
Now I have the video of the interview.
Welcome, my dinosaurs. As you may wonder why I'm on Domination, well, it's because I have inherited Domination Studios, as they have stolen my letters and my video of 100 Days in Isolation. So, in this episode of Dinosaurs Domination, I will be sharing an exclusive interview with the granddaughter of Frankenstein to give further insights before our finale. Before we get into it, I was unable to make the shoot due to my legal battles with Domination, so let's watch Lynn, my best friend, interview the granddaughter of Frankenstein.
Hey guys, it's me, Eylin again. So we have an exclusive interview with the great-great-granddaughter of Ernest Frankenstein. Let's give it up for her. Oh my god, are you okay, miss? What did you say? Take a seat. Take a seat. So, what was your relationship with Victor? Victor was my grandpa. My great-grandpa, actually. Victor is your grandpa. Ernest is your grandpa.
See, I feel like that might just be signs of dementia. So Mr. Lin, you should cut her some slack.
Thank you, Mr. Cameraman. Thank you. Okay, let me clarify for you. So your grandson actually had emailed my channel.
What did he say, Dina? I can't hear. I'm grabbing my left
Someone
ear.
get her hearing aids.
What did he say?
Your grandson emailed me, Lynn, okay, saying you were related to Victor.
Oh, Victor, yes.
Yes.
Victor was my great uncle.
Yes.
Yes.
So do you know about the incoming trend with Vic versus Mon?
No.
No? Apparently your uncle's receiving a lot of backlash.
Really?
Excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt. Please don't fire me, but I feel like you should clarify. I don't think she has a phone, to be honest. So you might want to clarify what the story is.
Thank you, Mr. Cameraman. Thank
Yes.
you. So it's where your uncle's receiving a lot of backlash on indirectly killing.
He did not kill anyone.
Really?
A disgusting monster killed everyone.
Oh, what do you
Yes.
think? Why do you think that?
Because he only created the monster. And he only created the monster because his mommy died.
Oh, tell me more about his mental well-being.
Can you say that again?
Mental well-being, ma'am?
Oh, he had a lot of childhood trauma, which led him to be depressed and very anxious. I felt very bad for my uncle at those times. You know, he was very depressed, so he really wanted to create something that was his.
Oh.
Yes.
So you don't think it's Victor's fault?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Thank you guys for watching.
We can see that the family members of Frankenstein share significant insight into his actions. With his granddaughter, who knows him better than anyone, because of her old age, the information shared was limited because we could gather that Frankenstein's intentions were further complicated by the immense isolation brought to him on by societal faults. And it is also applied to the creature's actions, as they are almost mirrors of each other's behavior.
Episode 7 reaction to
Welcome back, dinosaurs, to the next episode of the Frankenstein series. For those who don't know, I have acquired Domination and will be your provider for all of the drama and news going on in the world. Today, we will be uncovering if the creature started as a blank slate or was just inherently evil. The creature, otherwise known as Monster, begins as a blank slate that is tarnished by society, turning him into an evil creature. His first encounters with humanity reveal an innocent, unformed mind trying to make a sense of his surroundings. However, this innocence is met with fear and hostility as his appearance frightens everyone he encounters, leading them to respond with self-defense or rejection, showing them that he doesn't fit in and he is unwanted. The creature's kind gestures towards the DeLacy family further represent his goodness as he goes out of his way to collect firewood to ease their burden, demonstrating kindness and empathy developed alone without guidance. His violent revenge against Victor later depicts a response from suffering, repeated isolation, and rejection. The creature's subsequent murders are evidence of being shaped by intense emotional suffering and a lack of positive social interactions. His plea to Victor for a companion shows the desire for connection, by even promising to leave humanity and a deep desire to live peacefully. Dr. Binu will further elaborate on her personal insights.
Dr. Bean here with another analysis. His descent from kindness to violence aligns with Rousseau's belief that societal rejection rather than inherent nature breeds cruelty. The creature's transformation is a testament to the consequences exclusion and mistreatment have on an individual. New studies have shown that even infants display kindness and helpfulness early on, similar to the beginnings of the creature, until harsh treatment twisted him into anger. The sources used are BigThing.com's article on Are We Born Evil and BBC Earth.com articles called Are We Born Good or Evil, respectively.
Thank you so much, Dr. Binu, for your incredible insights. I will end this off by saying that the creature's journey demonstrates how a blank slate responding to his environment can descend into violence. All are triggered by society's constant rejection and cruelty rather than any inherent evil.
And this reveals how social rejection, rather than being pure evil, could transform the creature from a blank state into a representation of society's failures.
Welcome to the concluding episode of the Frankenstein series. Isolation from societal issues has driven both the creature and Victor towards their destructive path, highlighting how these effects, rather than inherent evil, can turn a creature from a blank slate into a symbol of society's failures. These tragic outcomes reveal the vital roles of empathy and mental health treatment. It urges us to consider how compassion and acceptance can prevent isolation and the consequences of these letters from happening today. As a show support, I will be donating of causes. Thank you for watching this. Thank you for watching this. This is Miss Dinosaur.
Okay, thank you guys for watching. We have...
So that was the last video I had for you today. And for the initial question, who's at fault, Vic versus Mon, I think it's neither. It's just a society's fault. The isolation of both the creature and Victor impacted their human development and reveals how social rejection rather than being pure evil could transform the creature from a blank slate to a representation of society's failure. But that does not mean you guys can blame everything on society. Everyone has to own up to their own actions and learn from it to become a better person, just like how Victor was trying to do. Thank you so much for watching this, guys. And Franken fans, make sure to unalive that subscribe button. And if this video reaches 5 million likes, I will react to the new podcast made by a famous YouTuber.
Hey guys, it's me, Lin.
And I think...
Okay, thank you guys for watching. We have... Okay, thank you guys for watching. We have...